Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back. I'm your host Mark Guido. And as we've continued our southward journey, chasing the last gasps of summer, we've arrived in California's northern Central Valley at Lake Oroville, tucked up against the Sierra foothills. Come along. Near the Northern California city of the same name, Lake Oroville was formed by the tallest earth-filled dam in the country at 900 feet at maximum capacity, 770 feet above the stream bed of the Feather River. The State Department of Water Resources completed the dam in 1967, following 5 years of construction. Lake Oroville conserves water for distribution by the State Water Project to homes, farms, and industries in the San Francisco Bay Area, the San Joaquin Valley, and Southern California. It also serves to provide flood control and power generation, in addition to recreation. The Lake Oroville State Recreation Area, operated by California State Parks, surrounds the reservoir, and recreation areas are spotted all along the shoreline for a wide variety of outdoor activities, including picnicking, horseback riding, hiking, sail and power boating, water skiing, fishing, and swimming. Campgrounds are established at boat-in campgrounds, floating campsites, and horse campgrounds. We're camped this week in the recreation area's Gold Hill Loop of Bidwell Canyon Campground, which offers a number of 50-amp full hookup sites nestled among the chaparral, oak, and pines below the small community of Kelly Ridge on the lake's western side. Sites here cost $45 per night, and many, including ours, are far from anything remotely considered level. When the lake is at its maximum elevation, it includes some 15,500 surface acres for recreation and 167 miles of shoreline. If the lake were full, this campground would be waterfront. However, right now, during our October visit, the lake is more than 100 feet down. Our camping neighbor told me that when they were here last in June, the lake was at full pool, and they were fishing up against those trees across the lake. Nevertheless, he said that the water in the lake right now is over 200 feet deep in places. Still, I don't think anyone will be using these moorings anytime soon. Largemouth and smallmouth bass aren't the only type of fish you'll find in the lake. Chinook, catfish, mackinaw, sturgeon, and brown trout can all be found in good quantities. 19-pound mackinaw have been reeled in, as well as 3-pound white crappie. It gets hot here in the summer, but spring and fall are typically mild as it is during our visit, with pleasant days and cooler evenings. There are a ton of surprisingly tame black-tailed deer here grazing through the campground at all hours of the day and night. I was also awakened one night by a large group of coyotes passing through our campsite. Other wildlife found here include mountain lions, raccoons, turkeys, opossums, squirrels, rabbits, skunks, ringtails, bears, and many kinds of native birds. We'll be right back with a whole lot more from the Lake Oroville area right after we take a quick ad break, so stay tuned. There is a substantial network of trails for hiking, biking, and horseback riding throughout the state recreation area, with one trail in the network passing immediately behind our camper. These are fun trails that dip and wind along the shoreline and reach some of the high points near the lake. A visitor center complex atop Kelly Ridge, just down the lake from our campground, features interpretive displays and a 47-foot viewing tower overlooking the lake and dam. Ishi, Oroville's most famous resident, was the last of the Yahi people and is considered the last Stone Age Indian to come out of the wilderness and into Western civilization. After hiding from Western civilization for 44 years, following the Three Knolls Massacre, he appeared out of the hills in East Oroville in 1911 at age 50 and was immediately thrust into the national spotlight before he died of tuberculosis in 1916. The Visitor Center at Lake Oroville has a thorough exhibit and documentary film on Ishi and his life in society. Ishi, which means man in the Yana language, is an adopted name. In the Yahi culture, tradition demanded that he not speak his own name until formally introduced by another Yahi. When asked his name, he said, "I have none, because there were no people to name me," meaning that there was no other Yahi to speak his name on his behalf. There's a mock-up inside the visitor center of a Native American mortar stone. But if you'd like to see the real thing, a mortar rock has been relocated from elsewhere within the Lake Oroville area to the sidewalk outside the visitor center. Gold was found at Bidwell Bar, one of California's first gold mining sites, bringing thousands of prospectors to this area. Now inundated by the waters of Lake Oroville, Bidwell Bar is memorialized by the Bidwell Bar Bridge, an original remnant of the area and the first suspension bridge west of the Mississippi when it was completed in 1856. It originally crossed the Middle Fork Feather River and remained open to vehicle traffic until 1954, before it was relocated here in 1966 due to the construction of the dam. A replacement bridge was constructed in 1965, a mile and a half upstream from the original bridge location. At the time, it was one of the highest suspension bridges in the world, 627 feet above the original stream bed. But with the creation of the lake, the bridge now sits just above the water level when the lake is full. We'll check out the nearby city of Oroville and go on a very unique hike right after we take one more quick ad break to pay the bills. So stay tuned. The discovery of gold along the Feather River in 1848 brought a flood of prospectors, who established several small mining towns that now lie beneath the lake. A tent city named Ophir, which supplied miners during the California Gold Rush and was named for the Hebrew word for gold, became the present-day city of Oroville, with an economy that today is largely driven by tourism to Lake Oroville. The olive canning industry was founded in Oroville by Frida Ehrman, credited as the mother of the California ripe olive industry. She built a large cannery in Oroville, and by 1900 was the president of the world's largest canned olive factory. Ehrman was a believer in women's suffrage and a friend of Susan B. Anthony. Today, Oroville is home to just over 15,000 residents. Its population boomed after the Camp Fire destroyed the nearby town of Paradise in 2018. The Chinese Temple in Oroville was built in 1863 to cater to the biggest Chinese colony north of Sacramento, with over 10,000 residents. It's now owned by the city of Oroville and open to the public as a museum, and also continues to be used occasionally for worship. Planted in 1854, the mother orange tree is the oldest living orange tree in Northern California, just outside of Oroville. It was a favorite attraction of miners, who would sample its fruit and save seeds to plant in the dooryards of their cabins. It was originally located in the mining community of Bidwell Bar, but when that was flooded by construction of the Oroville Dam, the tree was transplanted here. Berry Creek Rancheria of Maidu Indians of California, whose historical territory was along the Feather River and in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, have opened the Gold Country Casino just a few miles from our campsite. Fuel prices at the casino are below the typically high California average in the area, and they also have a very nicely built full hookup campground. Sites here cost $62 per night. The plan for today is to go on a relatively short but rather unique hike. But I'll confess that the drive to the trailhead is somewhat depressing, as the entire area surrounding the community of Berry Creek was destroyed by a wildfire in 2020. It's disturbing to see so many foundations lay empty where homes and businesses once stood. A few have attempted to rebuild, but clearly not without issues. There's a lot of land here with a for sale sign on it, and I'd bet that it's going rather cheap. Even the trailhead for Big Bald Rock is within the expansive burn area, but I expect that things will get better once I'm up on the rock. Upon reaching the bare exposed bedrock, the trail disappears and ends. From this point, you're on your own, to wander at will. Big Bald Rock is well named. A broad hump of bedrock and erratic boulders at elevations reaching 3,300 feet above sea level. Expansive views from here stretch out across California's Central Valley. I tossed our Starlink Mini in my backpack to test running it up here off a small portable battery bank. To power the dish, the battery bank's output needs to be at least 100 watts. I'm using our Anchor 737, which delivers up to 140 watts of DC power through its two USB-C ports. That will power Starlink Mini for up to 4 hours before needing a recharge. And it worked like a charm. The Mini's portability and flexible power options make it an exceptional choice for backcountry connectivity. We're still testing our new Mini, and we'll provide a full episode detailed with our results and opinions this winter. But in the meantime, if you'd like to try Starlink and get an extra month's free service, and in the process give us one too, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link down below in the video description to access our Starlink referral code. We hope that you've enjoyed exploring the Oroville area with us. We're going to get packed up here and head further south to another California lake near Modesto that hopefully has a bit more water in it still. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. Understand it's extremely important to us that if you enjoyed this episode from Lake Oroville, please be sure to give us a huge thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section, where we'd love to hear from you each and every week. So until next Wednesday, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.